Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the final week of business statistics. Congratulations on reaching this point. We're getting very close to the finish line. Real quickly tonight, and this actually won't take long, I wanted to give you a few quick hints on the critical assignment. Luckily, quite a few things in here you've already done throughout the other chapters and other case studies, so I think you'll find it fairly I don't want to use the word easy, but I think you'll be able to figure it out without too much trouble. So as I look through the different parts to the question that you're answering, question one, the methods of descriptive statistics, summarizing the data, you know how to pull that, you know how to analyze it. We did that from the very beginning, so I think you'll have no problem doing that. In part number two, we did a simple linear regression in the case study for chapter 12, so that shouldn't be a problem. I do want to go over multiple linear regression that you're going to be using in part 3, because I don't believe that was done in the original case study for in chapters 12 and 13, if I remember correctly. So we will go over that, and I think given the information in part 2 and 3, that should really help you answer the remainder of the question, along with the descriptive stats, and it's really the other pieces of the puzzle that you will have already pulled together. So I will get into multiple linear regression real quick. First off, this is the actual Excel sheet from the assignment. And what I want to do with that is really clean up and either order the data that I want to use based on the questions, or get rid of the data that I don't. So when I look at the question, part 3, they're asking me to develop an estimated multiple linear regression model that uses to predict the alumni giving rate. So we know we're going to use the giving rate, so I'll keep this in here. And then we want to analyze that in comparison to the graduation rate, the percentage of classes under 20, and the student-faculty ratio. Those are my 3 independent variables. And then I'm going to discuss my findings. So in order to do that, I know I'm going to use the giving, I know I'm using the graduation here, and I know I'm using student-faculty rate and the percentage of classes under 20. So those are the columns I'm using. And you'll see later why I'm doing this, but I'm not using this, and I'm also not using column H, so I'm just going to do Control and highlight both of those, right click, delete. I don't need them for part 3 of the question, so I want to get rid of that. Or I want to copy and paste and move them out if you want to keep your your base data set whole, because you will use that at the beginning to create your descriptive statistics. But for this point on in the question, you won't need it. So use it however you like. You can either just move them out, or you can delete them. I'm going to delete them. I like to keep my pages clean. All right, so very similar to my linear regression, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to go to data analysis. I'm going to do regression. And we know we want to analyze the giving, so I'm going to highlight that all the way down in my Y input. For my X input, or my X range, they told me to analyze these 3 things. So very simply, I'm just going to come in here to this selection, grab these 3 columns, and go down. I want to have my labels so I can see on my charts that pop out which ones that I'm talking about. My confidence level, I'm going to leave it at 95%. And I want to make sure I have this residual plot selected. That's really the only thing that needs to be selected. So I'm going to hit OK. And here's what I'm going to get. I've got 3 different charts. All right. And again, I don't want to go too far in depth to give you all the answers. But that is the methodology on how to get to the data. If you have questions, go into chapters 12 and 13 to do some review over linear regression. If you have any issues with interpreting the data and reading the data, reading the charts, finding out what it's telling us. So I look forward to seeing your work and getting this last assignment in. Make sure you pay attention to the requirements of the assignment, the rubric down below. It will tell you, everything you need to know about the assignment and how I'll be grading that. So make sure you're hitting all those key points so I can give you the most points possible. All right. Well, I hope you have a great last week. Again, I look forward to seeing the results. And shoot me an email if you have any questions as you work through it. Thanks. Have a great evening.